guys. So yeah, yesterday it was 74 degrees and today it's snowing. Welcome to New England, but I guess that's how it is throughout the country. I just brought in the girls because they were out free ranging, and I'll show you them. There they are. A little bit of snow on them, but otherwise unscathed. The key to bringing in chickens, find out what they like. My girls love scratch, so gave one a taste, they all come running. Oh. So it was a nice break having the 74-degree day yesterday. And let me lock up here. So yeah, it was a nice break having the 74-degree day yesterday, and it was pleasant. It melted most of the snow. I guess we're only supposed to get like an inch, not even. So it's not going to be too horrible. But I think I'm in agreement with most people in the United States this year. We're tired of winter. We appreciate all its benefits. It's a nice break. I was very grateful for it in the fall into winter. But as soon as January hit, I was tired of it. I think everyone is. So, yeah. Hey guys, Rochelle here with the Hickok Homestead. So exciting stuff going on in this kitchen here. I know, really, really cool. I have an update on so you saw the videos for how the sourdough started. It turned out really well, considering of the science experiment kind of status of it, and I was really happy. My neighbors seem to really like it. We really like it. I ate so much of it that first night. I was falling asleep during rehearsal. So it was really good. Now it's a danger having sourdough in the house all the time. But at least I made it. So lots going on here. First off, I wanted to show you before I added to my sourdough starter, my new one, not my old one, my new one, what it looks like. It is so exciting. It's literally foaming at the top. I know it's hard to see. I'm trying to make it so you can see. But it's almost like the top of, you know, dough when it's rising. It's really exciting. It smells different too. It's really cool. So I'm gonna add to this, and hopefully this weekend I will be making some more sourdough bread and some cinnamon rolls. And I saw in the Pratt family they made a white cake with sourdough. Totally cool idea. Smells good. All right. So we have the kombucha, we have the fermented vegetables, we have the sourdough going. We also started a more natural and raw food for our cats. You know how much we love our animals. They're our children, and you know, Sky, she's 17 years old, and Charlie is about 2 now. He'll be 2 in April. And so we want the best for them. And I've done a little bit of research on this with various other sites, and I realized that, you know, more natural and raw food makes more sense. What we would eat, we would want our animals to eat. They're predators. They're meant to be wild. And so they should have a more wild appetite and, you know, palate. So what we started with is, we just got it today. Mitch ordered it. It's a company called Smalls. And we got a trial pack. And truthfully, for about the same amount we're paying for cat food right now, it's the same amount. It's real. It's real food. It's real chicken and spices. That's it. That's all it is. And it's raw. It's frozen. And I just thaw it out and I give them a serving size. That's it. So I'm going to give this a shot. I'll give you guys an update in about a week or two, see how things went with, I know Charlie will eat it. It's Sky, the 17-year-old, who we're kind of like, we'll see. But we want the best for them, and we want them to be naturally healthy. So we're going to give this a shot. This is the chicken. They gave us also beef and turkey, I believe. So be exciting. So that's something else going on. I always have something going on here. And the moment of truth, what everyone has been waiting for, the kombucha. I actually had a friend from the bake, you know who you are. She asked how my kombucha was doing. She's a subscriber and she asked how it was going. And I'm like, oh, it's exciting. I'm actually going to do an episode about it tonight. So, the moment is over. You get to see now what it looks like. Check out my scoby. So, just another thing I would like to add about the smalls. I am not sponsored by them. I'm just stating as an idea of a more natural way. But I thought I'd share with you my scoby. So the important thing about with your scoby, it is a live bacterial source. I went and handled it earlier, and as you can see, it's now floating in the bottom. It was disturbed, so it's floating in the bottom. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go wash my hands in soap and water, and then I'm gonna rinse in vinegar. And my hands are going to be really, really dry afterwards. But it's worth it for my scoby. So, alright, all nice and clean now. P.S. Thank you, Charlie. That really stung. Yeah, scratch me, little brat. Let me tell you, vinegar in wounds is like lemons. Oy. Alright, here we go. I'm going to take it out for y'all to see. I don't really want to collapse it on itself. There we go. So, there it is. There's our little disc. And it's actually just the perfect size for us to start making our own kombucha. And it was only, truthfully, it got to be about this size probably within a week and a day, a week and 2 days, and in our climate. So from what I understand, this is natural. This is just a form of yeast that it has a slightly different color. It's not the most perfect scoby, but you know what? It's my first time and I'm pretty happy about that. So I'm going to leave it in here until I make my first batch of kombucha, which I'm actually going to do with you guys. So stick around. So kombucha is just like pretty much like making the scoby. The scoby requires 1 liter of water or 4 cups of water boiled. You put the tea bags in. I believe it is 4 to 7 bags. It depends on how you like your strength. Black or green tea, organic if possible, not processed. And then you also add a third a cup of sugar. You let that sit and you cool. And then you add 1 bottle of original kombucha. You let it sit for, 2 weeks to a month. As I said, mine only took about 8 days, 9 days to actually process. Apparently I live in a culturally rich environment. So, so the kombucha is pretty much the same idea. It's just in larger quantities. Unfortunately, I don't have a container big enough for housing 3 to 4 liters of water, which would be about 12 to 16 cups of water of tea. I don't. The largest container I have is my half gallon. I'm going to look into getting, if this is successful, I will look into getting an actual kombucha jar. It's really cool looking. I'll add some links below if you're interested, but I would recommend trying it before you actually invest the money into this. And I also plan on having a rotation. So out of this, I will probably have 4 bottles of kombucha. That should last Mitch and I probably at least a week, if not more. Kombucha only takes about a week to ferment. We drink about a bottle each day, maybe a little less, it depends. So it all depends. But so I just wrote down the actual recipe again on an envelope. So that's what I'm going to be following. I will actually put her link in the description below if you'd like to see the original video. So what it is I can only fit 2 cups of water in a half-gallon jar. I also have to add a cup of the processed scoby tea mix. So I want to leave a little room. I'm sure a lot of this will boil down, a bit of this will boil down while I'm processing it. So it will be high, but I want to get the most out of my kombucha. What you do is you set I have 2 liters of water, or 8 cups of water right here. P.S. I got this recipe from a Canadian website originally, so thus the liters. And then I'm adding 5 tea bags. And what I do, so I don't have to worry about them getting in there. And I like a strong tea, and so does Mitch. We just take the nubs off the ends. We can just stick them in and let them stew. So you're going to bring this up to a boil. You're going to reduce the heat. You're going to steep it just like you would a normal cup of tea. And then you take the tea bags out. Make sure you get all the excess out of them so it's nice and extra strong. You're going to add the sugar, which you will see, and you'll let it cool. And then you'll add it to your jar, your sterilized jar. After that, we'll add the scoby and a cup of the scoby tea mixture that has been fermenting in. So, hey guys, while I wait for the kombucha tea to actually steep and boil, I'm gonna feed my sourdough. Now, it was interesting because, you know, my old sourdough that I had in the metal bowl before, I transferred it into a half-gallon jar and let it sit. Now, I didn't feed it for a few days, and I did feed this one, however, and I noticed just now, I had to toss it, unfortunately, but I noticed that it was actually fermenting. It was bubbling up. I had a seal on the top, which is why I threw it away. It had a little bit of mold. I probably could have used it, but I didn't want to chance it, and I'm overflowing in sourdough currently. So it was working. So it really proves a point that any sort of metal, when it's sitting, I wouldn't say so much with mixing it, but sitting really attacks the growth of the yeast and the fermentation process. So it was really, really cool. I thought I'd share that tip with you guys. So don't use metal to go ahead and let it sit, which means I'm gonna have to get some glass bowls. Darn. Okay, so I'm going to feed my sourdough currently. So it's nice and bubbly, it's really pretty. I'm going to, again, if you missed the last episode, I have to cut this in half because I only have a half-gallon container. I have half a cup of water. And I have 1/4 of a cup of sugar. This is a half-cup container, but I'm only filling it halfway. I am an eyeballer. I'm a baker. Do not judge me. And a 1/2 cup of flour. Now again, this is unbleached pastry flour. I like Red Mills. And I'm just going to mix it. Now, I did find I really still enjoy the whisk for mixing it. It doesn't make any issues for the whole fermenting process. So, hey, it's easier and faster. I'm all for it. And there it is. Nice and creamy, nice and natural. I'm gonna just, there's my cheesecloth. Seal it back up and let it sit for another day or so. And probably Sunday, actually Saturday, I'll probably start. Now again, if you choose to make kombucha and sourdough at the same time, you do not, I repeat, do not want to have the kombucha and sourdough in the same area for fermenting. There's two different types of bacteria. You do not want to have two different types of bacteria fighting for dominance in the same area. It's not going to work. You're going to have a mixture of weird bacteria. So just keep your kombucha on top of the refrigerator and your sourdough in the corner on the shelf somewhere. That's what I'm doing. Right. So it's been steeping for about 15 to 20 minutes now. I'm going to fish out the tea bags. Come here, you little stinkers. He wants to film himself.
I think I'm allergic to whatever she's making.
Oh, you liar. So Mitch is housebound for the next few days. He had his wisdom teeth, all four, taken out of his mouth. And he didn't want me to put him on film, but apparently he does. So yeah, poor guy, he's in a lot of pain right now. So I get to make him a special dinner tonight of stuffing. Of stuffing and gravy and mashed potatoes and pureed turkey and
Squash or sweet potato?
Sweet potato squash and cranberry sauce. Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Ice cream for dessert.
And ice cream for dessert, right? I have half a cup of sugar here. I'm cutting this recipe in half, as I said before, because I only have a half-gallon container. So, dissolved now. I'm just going to let it sit and cool until I feel it's comfortable for not too hot for me to put it in the jar and then add the scoby. I also need to sterilize my jar for my kombucha. Alright, so our tea has been steeped. It is nice and dark, as you can see, for green tea. It's nice and cool. I can stick my finger in it and it's not hot. I'm going to pour it into my sterilized jar. So what I did was I actually I cleaned it with regular soap and water. Hot water. I mean, our water is really, really hot. You need to be very careful with it, actually. And then I rinsed it in vinegar, and I rinsed it again in water. So it's very, very sterilized. If there's any residue from the soap, it would have been rinsed out with the vinegar. Next, what I'm going to do is, so I poured in that tea mixture. It's a little warm, but it's not too hot. Not bad at all. Doesn't burn at all. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab our scoby. Transfer it into its new home. Hello. Hope you like it. And I'm going to take a cup of our previous tea mixture. I'm going to try to pour it in without making a gigantic mess, and I was somewhat successful. So, there it sits, our new scoby, and our new tea bath, our sweet tea bath. So, I'm going to let this sit for a week straight. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to mess with it. And in a week's time, so hopefully next Thursday, I'll be pouring and flavoring my kombucha. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. It's just like with making your scoby. You have a breathable cloth over top, and then you have a rubber band, which I lost. Where's my, a rubber band that you secure the cloth on. It keeps it filtered, but it still is able to breathe and grow that glorious bacteria that you want for your gut. So as always, guys, thank you for watching. It's always a treat to make these videos. I really enjoy making them. It really helps with my creativity and expressing myself in other ways. It also helps my family to see what's going on. Over here, we live about 3,000 miles away, so they love to see these videos, and I know a lot of friends like seeing me do these fun science experiments and see the chickens, which is always a very peaceful experience. So I enjoy you guys watching this and enjoying this. As always, if you enjoyed it, please hit the like and share button. Share it with your friends, family, someone you think might enjoy this as well. I'm always happy to also hear opinions. If you have comments, please leave a comment behind. If you also liked it, please subscribe. You know, I usually make a video every two videos a week. So it's usually always of varying circumstances. It depends on what the weather's like, in all honesty. I was actually planning today to take the compost from our chickens and put it on our garden today, but it snowed. We had 74-degree weather yesterday. The day before that was 65, and then today it snowed. So, welcome to New England. But I hope you enjoyed this. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all again this weekend. Bye.